Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're fine. Our conversation continues about Al-Quds, our bleeding wound as Palestinians, Arabs, and Muslims. In the previous episode, we talked about the Umar Covenant, the historical document which effects and influence are still present today. Today, we will talk about other historical events that Al-Quds witnessed throughout history and how Al-Quds emerged from those events strong, returning to its people, to its origin, to its roots. Al-Quds, as we said in the previous episode, was besieged more than 20 times, was subjected to military attack more than 50 times, and fell under occupation more than 40 times. Here are some pivotal points from these events to confirm an established fact: occupation and aggression come and go. Al-Quds remains and its people remain. This was in the past, and this will be the case now, and Al-Quds and Al-Aqsa are no exceptions. In the year 1099, Al-Quds fell under the Crusader occupation. This was part of the First Crusade. I don't want to tell you about the Crusaders, their goals and motives. Rather, we are talking about the crimes committed by the Crusaders in Al-Quds. To clarify, we differentiate between Crusaders and Christianity. Anyway, the Crusaders committed bone-chilling atrocities in Al-Quds. They carried out mass massacres against Muslims in particular. But their crimes also affected Jews and Christians, simply because their features were Eastern. Stories confirm that they slaughtered more than 70,000. Some accounts say that the number exceeded 100,000, to the point that the roads of Al-Quds turned into rivers of blood. Before they entered Al-Quds, they killed everyone they met on the way. They gave people the choice to either cooperate with them or die. Hundreds were killed this way, while some people agreed to cooperate out of fear of being killed. They were not satisfied with just killing, but rather mutilated and burned the corpses. They plundered everything, even cutting off fingers and hands to steal gold from the women after killing them. The Crusaders were not satisfied with this, but raised their cross over Al-Aqsa Mosque for 90 years and turned the mosque into a stable for their horses. As for the remaining residents of Al-Quds, the Crusaders worked to deport them from the city, with the aim of changing the demographic scene. The displacement included Muslims, Eastern Christians, and Jews, until Al-Quds became empty of its people. Does this remind you of what Al-Quds is facing today? We will talk about this in upcoming episodes, inshallah. Years passed, and the Crusaders thought they had settled their affairs in Al-Quds, when the year 1187 came, when a Muslim leader named Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi came out to liberate Al-Quds from the hands of the Crusaders and return it to its rightful status, to the Islamic nation. What did Salah ad-Din do to the Crusaders? Did he treat them the same? Did he take revenge on them? Not at all. Rather, he freed them and released them. He allowed them to leave the city. He even paid the ransom for those who could not pay it from his own money, and he provided them with food and drink. After the death of Salah ad-Din, the city fell again under Crusader occupation until 1244, when the Tatars occupied it from the Crusaders and exterminated the Christians in terrible massacres mentioned in history. The matter didn't stabilize for the Tatars for long. Only 3 years later, in 1247, Salah ad-Din's descendants were able to expel them from Al-Quds. Then after the Ayyubis, it passed to the role of the Mamluks, who excelled in its urban development, especially in Al-Aqsa Mosque. Their traces in it are still witnessed to this day. During the era of Sultan Saif al-Din Qutuz and his companion Al-Zahir Paypars, the Mamluks were able to defeat the Tatars in the famous battle known as the Battle of Ain Jalut, ending one of the worst eras that had passed in the city of Al-Quds. In 1517, Al-Quds passed to Uthman rule. Was this an occupation of Al-Quds and Palestine, as some historians claim, unfortunately, including Arabs and Palestinians? No. This was not an Uthman occupation of Al-Quds and Palestine. Rather, the city passed from Muslim rule to Muslim rule. This is a fact that many have tried to distort, but it is the truth. The Uthman preserved Al-Quds and developed it architecturally and economically. This also has historical evidence that is still visible to everyone. At the beginning of the 20th century, especially after World War I, Al-Quds fell under the British occupation. This is part of what is known as the Sykes-Picot Agreement, which was signed between Britain and France to tear apart the body of the Islamic State after the plot to overthrow the Ottoman Caliphate. What happened next? This is what we will tell you about in the next episode, inshallah.